Tammy Nobles, the strategist, is known for her love of people, not only for who they are, but also for who they are not. Her contagious enthusiasm is helpful in her personal mission to guide men and women to identify and live their best life and thrive in it. For more than 12 years, she has devoted countless hours, energy, and effort pouring into young men and women by assisting them to grow, develop, and plan for their future through mentorship, success coaching, and leadership workshops. She also has a unique 17-year background in program development, management, and event planning. She holds a master's degree in education from William Woods University and a bachelor's of science degree from Lincoln University. She shares her gifts and talents by helping others tap into their own superpowers through her businesses, Noble Necessities, LLC, Tammy R. Nobles, and her nonprofit organization, Noble Hands. Please welcome Miss Tammy R. Nobles.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. I have some shoes to fill. That was a very informative message before. Thank you so much for that. I learned a lot, and I didn't even know all of the information that was shared was on the Missouri website. So thank you very much for that. I also want to thank Miss Matthews and also Miss Deborah and Miss Linda and the Paula J. Carter Center staff for inviting me to share time and space with you today. I don't take this opportunity lightly, but I love helping people. And so I just want to encourage you a little bit today. I want to inspire you and to help you shift this COVID thing around just a little bit. You see, I help creatives tap into their purpose, show up boldly, brand with confidence so that they can thrive and share their gifts and their talents with the rest of the world. So today I want to do one of the things that is what I call my superpower. I help people get ready, be ready, and stay ready. And so today, I want to remind you about the superpowers that are within you. Part of really tapping into your superpower is really remembering that you have one. Some of us get caught up in situations in life and we forget who we are. And if you've seen the movie, The Black Panther, you may recall that one line when T'Challa was presented with a challenge and opposition, and something unfavorable was happening. But during that very time, someone from his community stood up and yelled and reminded him who he was. In fact, it was someone he was very connected with. It was his mother. You see, she had to relinquish this big call out to remind him you are great by saying simply to show them who you are. Show them who you are. And I will give you my rendition of what I think that T'Challa was thinking of when this all was happening. He was in the face of defeat, and he had to relinquish his Black Panther powers, right? Some things had to be taken from him, that when he was humanly weak, he would tap into his powers. But when his mother yelled out, show them who you are, she tapped into that innate superpower that already lived inside of him without the Black Panther powers, right? And so when she reminded him of that and she took a stance and was boldly saying it, to me, in my mind, I think that these words really resonated with T'Challa. He took a minute to remember who he was. And I'd like to think that in his mind, he was thinking, oh, I am more than the Black Panther, because what's inside of me is bigger than that. I am a king. I am an ambassador of my country. family. I am my mother's child. I am from a royal priesthood. I am a warrior. I am more than a conqueror. I am wonderfully made, and I got this, and I can do this. Here's the thing, my friends. Needless to say, at the end of the day, at the end of the battle, at the end of the challenge, did he have to go through it? Absolutely, yes. But the equal sign is this: he walked away with the win, a WIN. And if you haven't seen the movie The Black Panther, let me invite you to a story that I've read about in this book that I enjoy reading. And I heard about this even since I was a little girl, and it didn't really resonate with me until I became a little bit older and I started going through some things, and the challenges of life began to tap me on my shoulder. There's this young shepherd boy in this story named David, you see. And David was somewhat of an outcast to his family. And actually he was almost looked over for something that was his right, that was given to him, that was being given to him or put upon him by even the people within his community, his very own father. You see, his father even disregarded him. Here's the thing. He experienced many oppositions, battles, and fights in life against many things that were bigger than himself. Like literally, the story talks about how David came up against lions and bears in life, right? And even though the lions and the bears were bigger than him, and even though the lions and the bears caused a little bit of fear in him, David knew that he was bigger. The thing about David that's so relative to my point today is that in the heat of the moment, when no one else wanted to do the job that David was doing, David did it. He showed up. He took care of the things that needed to be taken care of. And even when those very things caused him to be challenged and caused a little bit of fear, he still took to the charge and stood up against all odds and came up with a win. So much so, my friends, that those small battles that David went through led up to a bigger win. Because out of nowhere, one day, David found himself taking charge to an even bigger battle, a type of battle when no one else wanted to stand up and take root of a cause, stand up and really come against this man known as Goliath, right? And Goliath had this big, huge reputation of being mean and ugly. And he had won all of these battles, and he was tormenting the people. And even though other people were trained for battle and to go into war, David wasn't a trained soldier. See, in private, David was being prepared for such a time as this. And so when that time showed up, David was like, put me in, coach, I'll do it. And while everyone else discounted David because of his consonants, because he was young, number one, they discounted him because of his age. Number two, they discounted him because he didn't do the normal thing the normal way. He didn't go through soldier training like everybody else, so they tried to discount him. They discounted him because he wasn't a part of the group, you understand? He wasn't a part of the warrior team that the king had already called out for. He wasn't a part of that, but he was the one who took on the challenge in the face of the greatest challenge. And in the midst of all of that, David walked away with the win. Why? Because he too tapped into his innate superpowers. And here's the thing, my friends. Even in the midst of when David was like, put me in, coach, and they were like, no, we can't put you in. You not even when his brothers tried to count him out, like, go home. This is not your territory. You're not built for this. David was like, I got this. When they took him before the king was like, little boy, go sit somewhere. you're not ready for this. David was like, I got this. What you don't know is that in private, I've been fighting the lions, the tigers, and the bears. And if I can fight them, I can fight this giant too. So David was like, I got this, right? His mindset was tapping into his own innate superpowers. Here's the thing, even when the king tried to give him what he thought David needed, David was like, I got this because there's something inside of me that's greater, that's bigger. And I'm just going to tap into that and use what I have. And guess what? Yes, again, David walked away with the win. Let me take time today for us to pause right there. And may I remind you to take a moment to remind yourself of who you are and the superpowers that you already have inside of you. The powers that exist even in the midst of a pandemic. The powers that exist even when there's a rough and a tough and challenging space that you are going through in life. And honestly, if you were to ask me and you really wanted to know, if there is any other group of people that's prepared to walk through this space that our nation, that our country is facing right now, it's our seniors. Yeah, it's you. Why do I say that? Great question, and I'm glad that you asked. It's because many of you have already walked through and seen some of the toughest times that our nation has gone through before. Many of you have survived the aftermath of what World War II looked like. Many of you have already experienced what family life was like after the stock market crashes and different things like that. Many of you already walked through the racial wars and people being hosed down with water hoses and consistently killed just because they wanted to fight for their rights. Many of you have already walked through the H2N2 pandemic and the flu pandemic. Many of you have already survived. You already made it through. And we need your strength and your wisdom to help us make it through this day. So here's the thing, my friends. In this space of this pandemic, in this thing that we call COVID, and there's such a negative connotation centered around the word COVID, I want to give you some practical practices that you can actually do so that you too, my friends, can tap into the power of you. Tap into your superpower. Tap into the things that make you amazing. Tap into the things that make you great. Here's the C. The C. I want you to stay connected. In this space of being socially distanced, and then as things open up and some people are sitting inside of restaurants and some people are saying sit outside of restaurants, whatever that is, stay connected. That's the C. Stay connected. And then the O, I need you to opt out. What do I mean? Take a media break. We hear a lot of messages, some good, bad, indifferent, and ugly. Some positive, some not. But can I tell you, if you keep hearing the negative messages over and 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 over again, that's all that your mind, that's all that you're feeding into your mind. So opt out. Take a media break. Here's the V. Remember, you have voice. Your voice matters. And it's important for you to be vocal. What do I mean by that? What I mean is some of the things that you probably said, like my grandparents told me, closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah, Be vocal. We don't know what you need if you don't tell us what you need. And that shame game, not wanting to ask anybody to do with you, those days are over, because we need you and you need us and we need each other. We care enough about you to care for you. So if it's something that you need, give us your voice. Be vocal. And if one person doesn't listen or they don't believe you, then tell somebody else. There's always someone who's willing to care. There's always someone who's willing to help. There's always someone who's willing to listen. So be vocal. Don't lose your voice. Here's the I in COVID. I need you to be inspired, right? Whatever your belief is, whatever that bigger thing is that you believe in. When it comes to T'Challa, when it comes to David, the shepherd boy, there was something greater that they believed that lived inside of them, that they tapped into. And they were inspired in the midst. They were inspired by that very thing. And those are the things that help them get wins. Stay inspired. So whatever that is for you, whether that's prayer, whether that's meditation, whether that's reading certain books, whatever that is, stay inspired. And here it is, the D in COVID. I need you to do what's necessary. What do you mean, Tammy Nobles? I mean, do what you know is right. If you know taking that medicine is the right thing to do and that's what you're supposed to do what's necessary. Do it, right? Do what's necessary. Get your health checkups. Take your meds consistently. Listen to your body. Sit down sometimes. It's okay. And if you can't get up, don't get up. Exercise. Be creative. Our brains are muscles. So work the muscles. Read, write, sing, laugh, enjoy life. It's necessary. This other book, the same book that has the story about David, it also tells me that laughter is good for the soul. It's good to laugh. It releases healthy endorphins in your body. So find something to laugh. I read one article that said that you need I think someone told me that you need 10 minutes of laughter a day. So make sure you find something to laugh. Do what's necessary. Here's the equal sign for today, my friends. Remember who you are and the power that is within you. Tap into your resources. Together, we can turn this COVID thing around. And don't forget about the person behind the mask. What do I mean about the person behind the mask? Great question, and I'm glad that you asked. Because the person behind the mask is the king, the queen, the ambassador, the someone's child, right? The royal priest, the warrior, the conqueror, the beautiful and wonderfully made person called you. Do and take care of what you can do and take care of you. Remember, at the end of the day, you are the one who has been silently prepared, equipped to make it through this and called for a moment, such a time as this. I am Tammy R. Nobles, and I approve of this message. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Miss Tammy. I really love how you broke down COVID from an acronym basically into just positive, words of encouragement. That was so unique and very clever. I've never seen that done, but I think we need that. We really, truly do. So can you please send that to us so we can have that information, and then we can share that with the seniors, after the presentation too, because we have another mailing that's coming up. And I think that was so unique how you did that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's see if we have some questions for you. Let's start with Southeast Missouri. Any questions from Southeast Missouri?
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Well,
That's well done. Other than we would love that information.
Yes, I will be happy to share.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
St. Louis, any questions?
no, I would just like to say thank you and well done.
Very
You're
well
welcome.
done. Thank you. Absolutely.
I don't have any questions, but and usually I don't even comment when you ask if we have any comments, but when you start talking about the David, the pastor in me came out and I was really and you really drew me in with that. But I really appreciated the part where you were speaking of Black Panther and show them who you are. And it kind of reminded me of when Martin Luther King was delivering his speech and Mahalia Jackson told him to tell them about the dream. So that's where we have the famous I Have a Dream speech. And so it is reminding your friends and your loved ones and even yourself to sing your own song when the words can sometimes be forgotten. So thank you for that reminder. And I truly appreciated your presentation today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from St. Louis?
My name is David. I'm a native Swahili speaker, and I want to encourage the senior citizens to spend some time outdoors. Go out and enjoy the sun, go out and enjoy the environment, go and see the river. Spend time in the outdoors. It's healthy. It's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to Kansas City. Kansas City?
KC, just like to say thank you so much. That was well presented, and it was really appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Noble. That was very well presented, and we appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you, Kansas City.
You're welcome.
Central, before we conclude, any comments, questions for Ms. Nobles?
Just wanted to say it was very well done. And I appreciate it. And it's a story that will motivate people. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Any other comments? Going once, going twice? Ms. Tammy, thank you very much for taking the time of your day to present for us. You are an excellent segue to the finale of this program today. So
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Really playing fantastic as far as how Miss Yvonne did this.